Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Bermuda says its business sector is under attack from the EU and it's fighting back. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, June 23. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Bermuda government is putting together a team of lawyers and experts to fight another threat to its business sector from the European Union. Finance Minister Bob Richards made the revelation on Thursday as he disclosed that the threat came in the form of an email from the EU's Code of Conduct group earlier this month. That email contained a questionnaire about the way Bermuda conducts its business internationally and gives the country a July 7th deadline to respond, or it will be deemed non-compliant. But the finance minister says the questionnaire is designed to conclude that Bermuda is a tax haven that is harmful to the global economy, and the EU in particular should therefore be placed on an economic blacklist. And he says this threatens Bermuda's economy. Jasmine Patterson of Bermuda Broadcasting News reports.
Mr. Richards understands Bermuda is not the only jurisdiction to have received the questionnaire. However, he says this action comes despite the OECD and Financial Action Task Force to combat money laundering already concluding Bermuda not harmful after a previous threat was launched in 2015.
Bermuda does not hide beneficial ownership from tax, regulatory, or law enforcement agencies. Bermuda does not create structures designed to obscure where income is earned. Bermuda is not the jurisdiction of choice for hundreds of thousands of multinationals seeking to create shell corporations. Other jurisdictions are. But scapegoating Bermuda plays well in some European countries for political reasons. It also assumes that Bermuda is weak and defenseless. We are not. We will fight.
While he says Brexit has significantly reduced the UK's influence in Brussels, the government will now rely on overseas support.
The government will therefore aggressively defend Bermuda. We will do so with the support of our private sector partners and our overseas-based friends with whom we work. We are pulling together all the resources necessary to beat back this latest threat. This includes the Association of Bermuda Insurers and Reinsurers, known as ABIR, the services of a London-based law firm to support our position, and Bermudian experts within the civil service and Bermuda's regulatory bodies. Our first priority is to answer the questionnaire clearly and logically. If there are biases in the questions, we will point them out.
The finance minister also pledging to share the questionnaire with the public in due course.
$25 million has been set aside to bring immediate relief to people affected by Tropical Storm Brett in Trinidad and Tobago. The announcement has come as government seeks to refute claims that its response to the passage of the weather system was itself a disaster. We get more from Kamal Georges of CNC3 News.
The full extent of the damage caused by Tropical Storm Brett is still being assessed, but there's some good news for those who've been directly impacted.
The Cabinet approved the Prime Minister's proposal and have asked the Minister of Finance to establish a fund of $25 million for immediate assistance with relief coming out of the effects of Tropical Storm Brett.
The fund was established immediately, and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Stuart Young says procedures already in place will be used for the disbursement of funds through the Ministries of Works, Social Development and Local Government. He says there's a reason that the process remains unchanged.
There is the possibility of a lot of fraud taking place. So the decision taken by Cabinet is to utilize the already in place procedures at the three ministries for the dispensation of this $25 million fund.
Minister Young says those funds will also be used to help compensate farmers who would have lost thousands of dollars worth of crops as a result of flooding. At the post-cabinet briefing, Minister Young was asked whether he was satisfied with government's response following claims that it handled preparation efforts poorly.
All of the resources were utilized. I think the population saw constant bulletins, the television stations and the media played a role in keeping the public aware, and the information was filtering out. You would remember on Monday there was a media conference where the persons who were charged with the responsibility came forward and told the population what was taking place. So no, we do not accept that, and we completely reject that there was any complete disaster.
The relevant agencies are still collecting information about how many people were affected. The Minister of Social Development says citizens can access various grants for the damage to their homes, loss of appliances, school books and more.
Meantime, squatters who were affected by Tropical Storm Brett will not be getting any support to rebuild their homes. That's according to Chief Technical Officer at the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, Vijay Ganga Prasad.
Yeah, we ensure most of all that there is some level of security of tenure. Right? Persons are asked to prove that the house is in fact theirs. There are some persons who from time to time would seek to get assistant relief to do homes that are in squatting areas. We are, the policy is, as it relates to squatters, is that we do not move forward to assist those persons.
However, he said this did not mean those affected would not be receiving other help.
We will assist with the other things, the household articles, the food support, clothing, and everything else. But when it comes to persons who are squatting, we usually would not give support for persons to rebuild in squatting areas.
In other news now, Dominica's opposition leader Lennox Linton is threatening legal action against Education Minister Peter St. John. This follows statements the minister made on the heels of unrest in the capital following an opposition meeting in February. In a letter to St. John from Linton's attorney, Cara Shillingford, on June 12, the opposition leader claims that St. John made defamatory statements during a recent radio program. St. John had suggested that as the political leader of the United Workers' Party, Linton, by his words and actions in the days leading up to and on 7th of February, caused, encouraged and or incited violence. Linton is demanding an apology and retraction of the statements within 14 days. He's also demanding compensation, failing which he will begin legal proceedings. But Minister St. John, represented by attorney Lennox Lawrence, in a letter of response on June 19th, maintained that he did not defame Linton. He denied that his words meant that Linton was guilty of destroying property or rioting. St. John said that what he meant was that Linton was and should be held accountable and responsible for the acts. Bahamas' opposition Progressive Liberal Party, the PLP, has lashed back at government over allegations that it mismanaged public funds while in office. The recently elected Herbert Minnis administration has said it will investigate the issuance of multiple construction contracts to a particular contractor in a short space of time. It says it's also looking into the Perry Christie government causing the country to forfeit claims under the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility following the passage of Hurricane Matthew last year. But opposition leader Philip Davis says the government is being disingenuous.
Opposition leader Philip Davis called the allegations made by the government against the Progressive Liberal Party false. Davis said the PLP government did not allow the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility to lapse, resulting in up to $33 million in damaged claims being forfeited. He added that PLP's Chairman Emeritus Arrington Minky Isaacs did not receive a no-bid contract to clean up petroleum at BPL's Clifton and Blue Hill Road plants.
On the advice of technical officers in the Ministry of Finance, the Met Department, the Port Department, and other members of agencies of government, took the decision to withdraw from CCRIF following the rejection of a claim under the insurance for Hurricane Joaquin in 2015. I'm advised that the contract was put to bid and Mr. Isaacs' company was the successful bidder. Being associated with the PLP, and I suspect being associated with the F&M, does not disqualify one from bidding for work with the state, with state-owned enterprises.
Davis also addressed claims that $8 million were paid to Ash Enterprises for hurricane cleanup and $20 million for the construction of Star Academy.
I'm advised that the contract's award followed the usual procedures. The contractor's work and ability to perform was, I'm advised, well known to the technical officers of the Ministry of Works. The contractor is not, as far as I'm aware, connected to the PLP. It is interesting that the minister neglected to mention that similar arrangements as is contemplated with the Seventh-day Adventist Church is also concluded with a number of other churches, including the Catholic Church, of which he is a part. It is unfortunate that the minister has created controversy over a perfectly legitimate arrangement with the Seventh-day Adventist Church, merely in an attempt to score cheap political points.
Still to come on Caribbean Newsline, the telecommunications sector in Guyana could be liberalized by next month. That story and more when we return.
Beautiful Barbados and 4D Entertainment welcome you to the Flow Soca on the Hill, Sunday, July 23rd, 2017, where the mega stars of Crop Over 2017 assemble with the Caribbean's best: Patrice, Skinny Fabulous, Ricky T, Orlando Octave, and Ultimate Rejects to bring you the world's greatest soca party, the Flow Soca on the Hill. Let's gather the people.
The Sajiko Cahill School of Business and Management invites you to attend Navigating a Path to Growth, a risk and competitive intelligence conference at Hilton Barbados Resort on June 26th and 27th, 2017. Speakers include Global Strategy and Risk expert Dr. Andrea Schotter, Regional PwC Risk Assurance Leader Bruce Scott, Miss Lisa Padmore, Dr. Delisle Worrell, Mr. Ian D'Souza, Professor Patrick Hossain, Professor Gillian Marcel, and many others. For more information, call 246-424-7731 or visit www.uwichsb.org. Secure your space today.
Welcome to SwiftPack, your online shopping and shipping solution. Receive the best rates, expert cargo management, and exceptional customer service. SwiftPack provides secure handling of your smallest packages to your largest cargo with speed and reliability. We invite you to use our U.S. mailbox service, online shopping, ship air and ocean cargo from the supplier to your door. We handle it all for you. Get started now. Sign up for a free regular account or premium account, or give us a call on 440-6100. SwiftPack. You shop, we ship, you save.
Guyana is moving to liberalize its telecommunications sector by next month. That's according to Telecommunications Minister Cathy Hughes, who says there are outstanding issues that have to be addressed first. More in this report from Royden James of HGP Nightly News.
Minister of Public Telecommunications, Cathy Hughes, explained that she cannot provide a fixed date for the completion of the initiative, but assured that the government is working assiduously to ensure the sector is completely liberalized in the coming month.
But I've put a very ambitious date of July, the end of July, and I'm saying if we miss it, it's going to be as close as we can to that.
Currently, Guyana Telephone and Telegraph, GTT, is negotiating with U.S.-based Atlantic Telecompany, ATN. Minister Hughes said that the two companies are moving full speed ahead with their negotiations.
It's a very detailed process. There are issues, of course, because it's not only my ministry, but the GRA and that aspect impacts on the negotiations. And of course, the Guyana Revenue Authority is a totally independent agency, so I can't speak for those kinds of issues that the Commissioner General is dealing with.
The minister also talked about some of the outstanding issues faced by GTT.
The outstanding issues really are issues in terms of the new pricing for spectrum, for example. That I think is the main one. And then, of course, the process by which we will then receive applications for new licenses. It is a complete new system and a new process. And therefore, it takes time to plan it, to get the right people, and to move ahead.
Liberalization has delivered significant benefits to countries such as Australia and boosted that country's economy. Once liberalized, users will have a greater choice of suppliers of telecommunications services and a broad range of new and innovative services and products.
With 11 murders recorded in Jamaica in less than 24 hours, police are concerned that 2017 will be the bloodiest year on record. Lawmen reported there were just under 600 homicides up to earlier this month, a 16% increase over the same period last year. A 10-year-old boy was among 3 people killed as gunmen went on a shooting spree on Thursday night. Police are also working on the theory that the death of an 11-year-old girl in central Kingston was a reprisal for the shooting death of an alleged don in the community. 4 other people shot on Thursday night have been hospitalized. But as we hear in this report from Vashan Brown, the largest wave of killings occurred on Wednesday night.
It's been a busy couple of hours for the police in St. James and Kingston. 11 people shot, 5 fatally, all in one night. In St. James specifically, 6 people were shot, 2 fatally, when gunmen opened fire in Providence Heights. The 2 dead have been identified as 24-year-old O'Neill Gibbs, a construction worker, and a 25-year-old carpenter Tevin Campbell. Reports from the Coral Gardens police are that about 8:20 p.m., Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Campbell were standing at a shop when 2 men, each dressed in a black hoodie, entered the establishment and opened gunfire, hitting them. They were taken to hospital where they were pronounced dead. The others were admitted in stable condition. The mothers of the deceased men say their sons were good citizens.
Tevin no trouble nobody. I don't know if Tevin and nobody up here not argue nothing at all. Tevin and everybody up here friend. Everybody friend, see all my name and everybody friend. Tevin, I don't know. A cigarette Tevin go by. Tevin caught up in the shooting.
I didn't expect this. When I hear saying get shot, I think I'm going to listen. I go past it, I'll go see. I wait for him to come in yard. When I reach out to me saying dead, I'll know me in a disbelief. Because I don't know if they talk to people that's then just going to kill it so. I don't know where this they come from. I just have to tell myself that in that the wrong place at the wrong time.
Hours later in Kingston, people rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital as news spread that 2 vendors were shot and killed in the Coronation Market. They've been identified as 34-year-old Dane McDonald and 54-year-old Sonia Bennett. A man was also shot and injured. Persons reported hearing explosions shortly before 10 o'clock and called the police. When the police arrived, Miss Barrett, Mr. McDonald, and the other man were seen with gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital, where the 2 died and the other man admitted in stable condition. The other incident in Kingston took place at Metcalf Street, Denham Town, in which a man was killed and another injured. The police say 2 suspects have been held in relation to the 2 separate shooting incidents in West Kingston. One of the suspects is from the Golden Heights community and the other from Denham Town.
Meanwhile, Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbitt says police are making headway with their investigations into Wednesday night's shooting. He says they have the names of 2 possible suspects. And ahead in Newsline Sport, rain ruins the opening ODI in the 5-match series between West Indies and India. Stay with us, Sport is next.
Chatting CARICOM, your chance to get answers to questions about the regional integration process and how it affects you.
Why is the process taking so long?
Countries tend to retain a sense of identity, even if they have a common region, common ancestry, or common cultures.
Join CARICOM and CARIVision for Chatting CARICOM, Wednesday, June 28 at 8 p.m.
It's a bit more of community forum where perhaps persons can really learn about this thing called CSME.
Chatting CARICOM, Wednesday, June 28 at 8 p.m.
Not at the political level, but at the grassroots level, we are the ones that need to make the idea of the CSME become a reality.
Chatting CARICOM, a community for all.
On building one Caribbean.
Follow your heart to the 21st edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from the 22nd to the 24th of June, featuring Shabba Ranks, Ultimate Rejects, The Boozman, Mobado, Jack Pure, DJ Private Riot, and back together again, Square One. Also performing Third Word, Voice, King Mighty Chalk Dust, Credence Clearwater Revisited, Ed Robinson, Ricardo Drew, Teddyson John, Felicia Ross, Brianna D, Lyrical, and Goo Goo Dolls. For more information, log on to www.stkitsmusicfestival.net.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Rain stopped play with India at 199 for 3 of 39.2 overs after they were sent in to bat against West Indies on the opening one-day international of the 5-match series at the Queen's Park Oval on Friday. The downpour affected much of the day's play, beginning before lunch when the Indians were on 189 for 3. Opener Shikhar Dhawan on 87 and Ajinkya Rahane hitting 62 had posted 132 runs for the first wicket. After the rain break, skipper Virat Kohli was left standing on 32 not out and MS Dhoni on 9 at the crease. Now captain Jason Holder, Ashley Nurse and Devendra Bishu picked up 1 wicket each. The next ODI bowls off on Sunday at the same venue, the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. Now earlier, West Indies captain Jason Holder had said his side would be focusing on their execution in the ODI series and lone T20 match against India. The men have been criticized for their performances lately, but Holder says they will not be distracted and will continue to work on improving their game. Nasira Mohammed of C Sport tells us more.
Holder acknowledges his team's track record isn't anything to shout about. He expressed full confidence in the current squad of players. Holder says the team cannot focus on negative comments directed towards them and are here simply to play cricket.
So at the end of the day, we've got to play what we have. Going forward, you know, wish not to hear this question again, to be honest, tired of answering it, but it is what it is and we've got to play what we have.
Though not looking back on past performances, Holder admitted that the team has been inconsistent, but says they are working on those weak areas and will take this series match by match.
I think once we do the correct things, we execute our plans, we have a good chance of beating India, but we have to play cricket on the day. We set out our plans, batting, bowling, and also in the field. I think once we hit those targets, more often than not, we end up on the winning side. And in the past, we probably let ourselves down in the field. Our batting hasn't been the most consistent, and those are obviously areas we need to address.
Holder was only prepared to focus on his team and issues surrounding them, not the Indians. He also doesn't believe there is any extra pressure on the Windies with the absence of bowler Shannon Gabriel.
Bowling has been doing pretty well for us in the last few series, and I would expect the guys to continue in that same vein, if not, improve it. India has a very good batting lineup and some good players, so it'll be a good opportunity for us to test ourselves against some good players. In terms of the batting, I just think we need to show that intent. We've spoken a lot over the last few days about intent and where we want to go as a batting group. I think if we set that standard, set that tempo early on in terms of our intent, we should put ourselves in a lot better position than we have been in the past.
Staying with cricket now, estranged West Indies left-hander Darren Bravo has accused Cricket West Indies of not affording him due process in the decision to axe him from the Tri-Series tour of Zimbabwe last November and bar him from future selection. Breaking his silence in an interview on the Bassey United Insurance Line and Legs television program, the 28-year-old said CWI's only communication with him was to indicate that his contract had been terminated and to inform him of flight details home. He said no CWI official had sought to engage him on the matter, and he found this particularly disappointing. Barbadian lawyer Donna Simmons, a member of Bravo's legal team, said her client's rights had been breached and said subsequent attempts to negotiate with CWI had ended in frustration. Since being sent home from the tour, Bravo has been barred from taking part in domestic cricket, and only last week his presence for Trinidad and Tobago in a practice match against West Indies reportedly drew protests from CWI. Head coach Vasper Drake says the challenge for the struggling Windies women will be to find confidence as they desperately search for winning form ahead of the opening game of the ICC Women's World Cup next Monday against reigning champions Australia. On Thursday, the Caribbean side plunged to their second loss of the official warm-ups and fifth defeat overall in 4 weeks to be without a single win heading into the June 24 to July 23 tournament. West Indies slumped to an embarrassing 63 all-out of 23.5 overs after opting to bat first at the Lime Kilns ground. They lost their last 7 wickets for 3 runs in the space of 49 deliveries. That's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Celebrating 40 years of fun in the June-July sun. Vincimas 2017. Enjoy the exciting blend of mass and painted steel and glitter. There's a Monday street party like no other. And the explosion of colors at Mardi Gras. Don't be left out of the Vincimas 40th birthday celebration. Evo 4.0. Evo 4.0. There's Kaiso and the energy at Soca Monarch. June 30th to July 11th. Vincimas, the hottest carnival in the Caribbean. Check out Vincimas on Facebook or carnivalsvg.com for more details. Vincimas.
Ready for Mars.
Ready. It's another episode. When we out on the road, this is what we love to celebrate, to celebrate. This is not Hollywood. No, we don't come out the road. Drink, drink, drink.
King Baba and Nikita. Hey, hey, hey. Every fact that a boy keep on calling me wrong name. But that's okay, cause that's my bitch. I don't understand how wearing a name tag on me. You know what to say, he's still calling me wrong name.
Don't get vexed with me. Don't say that.
Again, the major developments of this day, Bermuda says its business sector is under attack from the European Union and it's fighting back. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to carnanews.com. We'll be back here again on Monday. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.